So she has sort of become a policy opponent of the president, but I think it really all started with that political engagement, and now she's one of his most frequent critics on some of what I would argue has been his biggest successes this year. And if you want to count yourself as an ally of the President of the United States, it's not great to go out and run out to The View and other places and crap on him 24 hours a day. I mean, that's essentially what she's become. It's a well-worn path. A lot of other Republicans who've turned on the president have done that too.
But there's a difference.
That's Scott Jennings laying out exactly how fast Marjorie Taylor Greene went from acting like a Trump ally to parroting establishment media talking points on CNN and apologizing for being toxic and polarizing. Welcome to Nerk News. I'm Nerkish, and it looks like MTG's little breakup tour with Trump is getting more embarrassing by the minute, because every time she goes on CNN to apologize for toxic politics, she confirms she's drifting toward the same people who hated her 5 minutes ago. It's the classic pattern. Soften up, blame Trump, then act shocked when people notice. Here's Scott Jennings explaining the poll moment that started this whole mess.
Technically true, based on what I've heard and what I know, that he didn't tell her not to run, but what she didn't say was that he sent her a poll privately, discreetly, and it had information in it, and it showed her down 20 points to Jon Ossoff. And so in politics, when you want to send a message to someone that you like or that has been an ally, you don't embarrass them publicly. You privately send them information and show them what the reality is. I do think it started with that political engagement. When they sent her that poll, that's when you start to see everything change. She opposed the president on his Middle East policy, attacking the Houthi rebels, attacking Iran. She's opposed the president on deportations this summer. I think it's true that he didn't tell her not to run, but it's also true that he did her a big favor, which is to show her information that a candidacy statewide in Georgia for her would have been a disaster.
Jennings is right to point out how this actually started, and I mean, Trump handled the whole Senate question privately and respectfully. He didn't humiliate her. He sent her a discreet poll showing she'd lose to Ossoff by 20 points, so she didn't waste her career or hand Democrats an easy win. Call me crazy, but that sounds like loyalty to me. And for some reason, MTG twisted it into some grievance narrative because it didn't feed her ego, and now she's rewriting the whole thing as an attack. Despite what establishment media says, MAGA isn't a cult. People disagree with Trump all the time, and it's healthy for the movement. But this is honestly starting to feel less like a real policy debate and more like MTG choosing drama over results. I mean, I frankly understand some of her concerns, especially on the H-1B visa issue, but I don't think this media tour is the way to address it.
Of course, everybody knows in Washington, Miles, the fastest way to get in front of a television camera if you're a Republican is to come out and crap on Donald Trump. And so that is what she is doing.
But Scott,
that is what she is doing because she is mad at him over these issues, and that's what happened.
Scott, I trace it further back than that. I trace it back to 10 years ago when you said Donald Trump was an authoritarian. And you know what, Scott, I've got to hand it to you. That was a remarkable forecast because 10 years later, I think you called it. Here's Donald Trump today, the man with the heart and soul of a fascist, showing us he now has the bona fides. By tonight, ordering investigations into American citizens. That's why members of his party,
Why are you so upset he's running the executive branch?
For the same reasons you predicted he shouldn't. For the same reasons, Scott, you said he violated his oath and he should never be back in that office. That's why I'm upset for the man being in the Oval Office.
I happily voted for him 3 times.
I know that.
The alternative was terrible.
And a lot of your friends were shocked.
Yeah, well, a lot of my friends would have been shocked at you trying to subvert the elected president of the United States, which you did.
Well, I proudly did. I proudly
said
mid-level
to the staffer substituting his judgment for the elected president of the United States.
Well, Scott, I would have loved to have seen you stand up to it.
Good luck.
Back to MTG.
Miles Taylor saying he's proud he subverted Trump is the entire problem in one clip. I mean, it confirms what Jennings is getting at. These mid-level bureaucrats thought their personal feelings outweighed the will of the voters. The guy wrote an anonymous op-ed pretending to be some senior hero while actively working against the president's agenda, and now he cashes in on CNN acting like he saved democracy. It's no wonder Miles is trying to lump himself in with people like MTG right now.
I would like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. And it's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated. is that I'm only responsible for myself and my own words and actions, and I am committed, and I've been working on this a lot lately, to put down the knives in politics. I really just want to see people be kind to one another, and we need to figure out a new path forward that is focused on the American people, because as Americans, no matter what side of the aisle we're on, we have far more in common than we have differences. Yeah. And we need to be able to respect each other with our disagreements. I stood with President Trump when virtually no one else did. Campaigned all over the country, spent millions of my own dollars helping him get elected. And I think that's incredibly important. And I do support him and his administration. And I support them in delivering the campaign promises we made to the American people. His remarks, of course, have been hurtful. However, I have something in my heart that I think is incredibly important for our country, and that is to end the toxic fighting in politics. And this has been going on for years, and it has divided our country, split up friends and families, neighbors, and it's not solving our problems. The most hurtful thing he said, which is absolutely untrue, is he called me a traitor, and that is so extremely wrong. And those are the types of words used that can radicalize people against me and put my life in danger.
This is where the whole MTG moment really slides off track. She's playing victim and talking about Trump egging on threats one minute, then sitting on CNN doing the unity and kindness routine, which always plays straight into Democrat framing. I mean, Trump takes assassination attempts, impeachments, indictments, and a weaponized government in stride, and he still pushes America first harder than any president in recent memory. MTG going on CNN to apologize for toxic politics doesn't make her evil, but it does show she's letting media pressure shape her message instead of staying focused on results. But let me know what you think. Is MTG's recent apology tour just a temporary wobble, or is she fully drifting into establishment media approval seeking? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!